Aranya agriculture alternatives, but basically I'm a permaculturist. Since last 24 years I am working with the grassroots level community. Basically I'm very much interested to meet people, those who are like-minded here actually. But while looking at the scenario here, I could share my ideas and I can present some issues which I am struggling since last 25 years in this field. But I am very much interested in agriculture. It's not what so-called a lot of agriculture systems are there, but I'm basically I'm talking about permaculture is a permanent agriculture. So in this, basically the permaculture talks about natural resource management, and particularly the talking about the agriculture. Agriculture is not separate; it's associated with the forest principles. So any system is today we're talking today. Everything is almost we have derived from forest. Even your species and all your cultures and all your trees, everything derived from your forest. So forest is a homeland for all these cultures. So if the forest is damaged, that you have to lose all your cultures, your species and your all traditions, everything. So that is the context where I am trying to put some issues in front of some people, those who are attending here. I am consulting people, those who are like-minded, working on these issues, particularly forest and agriculture. I think this should not separate. The forest is separate and agriculture is. I think it's parallel. It should go, but you have to learn lessons from forest, not from agriculture. So if you learn, if you are very perfect, if you understand what is nature. Nature is not separate in its alone. It is a part of nature is a forest. Forest from you have to learn lessons and you have to implement to go along with, not against the nature. That is the purpose I wanted to meet some more people here to exchange my ideas here.
Very interesting. So you've been working for the last 25 years on this, and you've also worked at and understood the policy level issues. Tell me about the problems that are at the policy level, which is not translating into effective implementation and bringing, the expected improvement in the condition.
No, it's in different levels. The understanding and the policy levels, I think, we can understand in different way. Because if you have a good example of here today, the COP11. COP11 is holding here. Most of the people, they don't know what it does mean. I think the biodiversity is one of the great subject actually, but it has to be any issue, any policy making, any decision. I think it has to be when you are conducting it in the 2012. I think it has to be 1 and 2 years before you have to give a lot of propagation and lot of you have to talk about them, and you have to take it to grassroots level. What does it mean? Why they are conducting all this international conference like this? I think you have to talk to the people, not directly, but there are lots of means to reach the people to what does it mean and everything. But if you take the good example of it, I think so many people, even intellectual section and the academic side, even the educated people, they are asking me, what does it going? What does it mean? What's going on in Hyderabad? I think the biodiversity is one of they are doing what if you put it together, like as a crops and your birds and your trees, and what does diversity mean? Just as somebody belongs to some people, they are gathering and they are discussing various issues. I think doesn't think, because in India, like country, like almost as India is almost as a continent. It's a huge country. You have to talk directly to the people. There is a lot of means, a lot of media is there, print media and newspapers. I think you have to give a lot of propaganda to the issues so that people are participate in such issues. I think they can bring out more issues. Policymakers, what they are doing, how they are implementing. Is a forest is a good example. Like now, the forest almost is declining every year. I think if there is a participation, we are talking about the management and participation, people participation. I think the sake of writing and a book, it is on the paper, but it's an implementation level. If you go the intensity of implementation, once the decisions taken at the central level and it come to the field level, meanwhile there are so many hurdles to cross, and then the moment you come down to your grassroots and the field, I think everything is diluted. It won't trickle down to the implementation. I think we have to understand the country's size and people and mindset, then what are the mechanism to reach that people who have to plan in such a way that policy is not taking at most of this such conferences. I think it applies to all our policy making. So I think that has to be a little bit, we have to think carefully, like a huge countries like India. I think a small country, no problem. We can reach any time, but is a country like India, I think we have to be very more conscious, not only the conducting the conferences as such, so many issues, any new policy you are bringing, and I think you have to be very conscious, you have to bring more fruitful, not like just very faithful.
So we've, in such discussions, we've mostly touched upon two stakeholders, communities and the governments. But private sector is another stakeholder which usually left out. I'd like to hear your comments on the responsibility and the responsibility that the private sector should shoulder, and what can be done about it, effectively and at a very pragmatic level in the context of India.
No, there are stakeholders, primary and the secondary stakeholders are true, but there are again the private sector also. They have to every sector has their own limitations. They have to play their role. Not totally everything is a privatization also not good. There are certain things to be provided by government, and another the stakeholders they are there and the providers are there. But where some of these things cannot be performed by the government, even the stakeholders, and the private sectors has to come in, they have to provide their services, and that has to be identified. Not everything is privatized also not good, and totally putting them aside and we will do all the drama is also not good. I think everybody has their role to play in the society, and where they have to come, where they have to do what, and that clarity is missing here. I think the private sectors has to play major role in where some of the lacunas are there, which the primary and secondary stakeholders and the providers, there some of the not able to provide the perfect proper services to the stakeholders. There the private sector has to come in, they have to play their role. I think that component should be very important. At the same time, also it should not be neglected other things. If I depend on a private sector, what is the role of government then? So that has to be very conscious. Where they are not able to do that private sector should be invited. They have to work with the community. And there are sectors are there which cannot be, entire thing is government play. But there are private sector, so some of the people, they are very active. Like your Red UN, and they are playing very good role in the forest management and a lot of biodiversity activities in world over. And their role is very, very critical. The critical role they have to play. Not totally entire taking their shoulders and they will play all the tamasha. I think the drama, it doesn't work. I think that I will feel, and the private sector has the very, very important key role they have to play. Because I am not saying their role is not there. No, their role is there. But it should be answerable. It should be, communities should be accepted. And what are the role they have to play, they have to be very clear.